Let's try it again. That's gonna happen the first, second, maybe third time you use this bag, and you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna wanna return it. This is a comparison video of EMP Faraday bags found throughout the market, some in different areas or different websites. They can commonly be found when searching online for an EMP Faraday bag. What an EMP Faraday bag does is it blocks different electronics such as a generator for these sizes, batteries, solar panels, communications equipment. It blocks that type of electronics from an EMP blast. Why that's necessary is to protect them. If they're left in the open air, they can become damaged. So as preppers, we often buy these covers for our electronics to make sure that we have a layer of protection just in case that happens. Now, there are some vast differences between them, and you may not find this when searching online. So we line them up here for you to help do a direct comparison of each of the features and the different elements of each bag so you can see side by side how these fare up. The first one that we're going to look at is a Mission Darkness Dry Shield EMP Faraday bag. The second is also a Mission Darkness, but it's not a dry shield in that it's water resistant but not waterproof. And then we have a few others that we may find on Amazon or other websites. This one right here is the, however we're gonna pronounce that, Faraday bag. That's on Amazon. We have an SLNT right here. That's that one. And then we have the Xtreme Sight bag right here. Now, the first thing that you're gonna notice that you may not notice if you're online doing research is that these are drastically different sizes. What a lot of the manufacturers do, we found in ordering these and sizing them up, is they place the dimensions of the bags on the website as opened. But these are drastically different dimensions than when closed, full of gear, all closed together and EMP resistant. So this bag, for example, may sit this high, and this one as well. We may put that dimension, but that's not the real dimension when it's closed, rolled up, and fully secured right here. So we did that, we put gear inside, made sure that they're stuffed to the brim so you can actually see a true real world comparison. Now this one, for example, this is a cheaper bag when you look on Amazon. But if we compare apples to apples, at price per liter, we see that this is actually the most expensive bag. And then we take a look at the SLNT. This bag is about $2 price per liter. It may be a little bit cheaper than the Mission Darkness bags, but when we get down to it and we put gear in here, we find that that's actually a more expensive bag. And then we have the two Mission Darkness bags coming in at $1.72 per liter here, and then the Dry Shield at just around the same, not too off. And then the cheapest one, this one right here at $1.59. So we want to make sure that we're actually comparing apples to apples what we're getting in terms of capability. This bag right here is drastically different than this bag right here, both in length, width, and height. And you can see that here. Place it in front to take a look right there. You're not getting the same product when you buy these, not at all. So just for size comparison, let's say we were gonna put some of these different types of electronics inside of our bag. Pretty quickly, we start filling it up with just a few items. This is a battery generator, just basically a large battery. This we may have some SAT communications equipment inside of or other stuff, and we're gonna fill these up pretty quickly, so we want a lot of space. So make sure that when you look, and not to mention gas generators. This right here is a gas generator that won't fit in some of these smaller bags. So make sure when you look, you're comparing the actual real closed size and ask the manufacturer, what is the size when it's closed? Now we'll take a look at some of the features. So first, starting over here at the Mission Darkness, this is a waterproof bag. This uses an outer cover of TPU. This is really nice because if you're gonna have elements or it's gonna be outside or exposed to any possible elements, this is gonna be fully waterproof. It's gonna keep everything inside protected in the event of contaminants or rain or flooding and so on. The next thing you'll notice is that throughout these bags, the Mission Darkness Revelation EMP shields, we'll start to see some things right off the bat on quality. We notice that this is nylon, 100% nylon. This is ballistic nylon right here, and these materials matter. They don't compare directly to the other materials. One material is not like another. At Mission Darkness, these materials are extremely high quality. They're just about the best that we can put in bags, and we do that for a reason, for longevity, to make sure that whatever's inside stays protected. And furthermore, when you close this bag up, you'll notice the rigidity. Take a look at this bottom panel. This is a plastic panel that goes inside of this bag to make sure that whatever you put inside stays protected from the ground, the bag stays rigid so that items can distribute properly, and it protects it from anything below. This plastic plate ships along with the bag. It comes out and it can be pushed in as an insert. Now, do we have that in other bags? The Mission Darkness have this. This bag, we've filled it with stuff, but look, there's no plastic plate in there. Anything in the bottom is going to be exposed to the elements. The bag may get ripped, can get bunched, and it can get damaged. Now let's take a look at the SLNT bag, the silent, right here. This one does seem to have an insert in the bottom, but this insert is foam. I think it's built into the bag from what we can tell. It doesn't come out, and it's more of a flexible foam piece. A little bit of protection, but still not the same as a hard plastic plate on the bottom, and that matters. And then we'll take a look at this bag here. This again, however we pronounce that, Amazon Special. This one has a soft, semi-flexible plate on the bottom with some feet. Yeah. Now what we're gonna do is take a look at some of the materials. So before this video, I was playing around with the bags and I was stressing different points and noticing if I heard any tears on thread. Sure enough, I heard some tears on the bags. This is a good way to understand durability. Mission Darkness bags are all stitched using box stitches, all with nylon thread, nylon components like this webbing right here, ballistic nylon. Nylon is the highest quality material generally used for bags like this. Other materials exist in the market, but they're not the same. What we're gonna find if we try to rip this here, we're not gonna hear any tearing. And you can do this test yourself too. I'm pulling as hard as I can. Do this test at home. You can try it yourself. Same with this bag here. We've got the same materials. If I were to do this bag, this is that bag. If we were to do that, look at that. Let's try it again. That's gonna happen the first, second, maybe third time you use this bag, and you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna wanna return it. Look here, we can see the Faraday fabric on the inside. That's a major difference in materials. This is cotton webbing, I think. It appears to be cotton thread, and I could probably just about rip. I actually didn't expect to rip it this badly. Thought I'd hear some tearing. I didn't expect that. So there you go. That's what happens when you pull on any component on this bag. And again, try it yourself at home. SLNT, let's try that test. Okay, I didn't expect that actually with this bag either. Yep. All right, so my guess, because I can't definitively tell, I haven't tested this material, but my guess is this is cotton thread. It's not stitched with a box stitch pattern that goes from bottom to top. This looks to be a little bit more surface level. And look what happens when I rip at it. Comes right apart. You're not gonna know this when you go looking for bags online. You're gonna find it out in a critical moment when you need the product to work. Let's try this bag. This is the Xtreme sightline. Well, that one actually does a little better. Little rippage. Let's try another one. Nope. Nope. Nope, can't even get at that one. Let's try this one. All right, that came off, but I did have to pull harder. To be fair, this seems to be made with somewhat higher quality components than the other ones I just tested. And to be fair again, let me go ahead and do that again on the Mission Darkness bags. Okay. I am pulling as hard as I can. Yep, you can see I'm giving it my best. Okay, that's good enough. This bag is high quality. The components matter. If you didn't know that already, you can see it now. Like is not like when it comes to quality with fabrics, thread, webbing, etc. The final thing to talk about is how these bags operate. In Mission Darkness, we often put openings and closures that are simpler and easier for users to achieve when it comes to big openings like this. So take a look. We have these pieces of webbing right here that go all the way from inside to outside, and we can open this really easily. That's a really nice feature because this is pretty thick hook and loop, and it can be a pain in the butt if you want to get things in and out. That's one small feature that matters. And actually, we've got one more worth talking about. Mission Darkness bags have 3 layers of Faraday fabric. This is important. It's a question of RF shielding. Is the bag going to block well enough during an EMP? We make sure that we have more than enough material just in case. And then it's a question of durability. If there's objects inside and they happen to wear through the first layer, if there's abrasion, we're going to make sure that we have 2 redundant layers to help back that. In the event of an EMP, you want to make sure that the product actually works. Other bags than Mission Darkness may have 3 layers. We cut this one open on the inside. We found it does have 3 layers. This one we found does have 3 layers. This bag, while during my test just now of durability did fare fairly well, and that is the Xtreme sightline, this bag actually only has 2 layers. So if we're going to look at a cost to feature standpoint, this is actually the most expensive bag at price per liter with the least features and the least chance that if redundancy is required in the shielding, that the bag will block when it gets down to it and you need it to work. There's other things to consider among these products, some of them small, some of them big, but these are the primary ones. I hope that I demonstrated to you today that size matters, that quality, materials, they matter. And when you get down to apples, the size to cost is something you may not expect when going through. So ask the manufacturers closed height, how big is this dimension-wise when it's fully closed, and hopefully today this has exposed that to you. Take a look in the comments. We have the actual dimensions of each bag and some other notes. And drop us a comment if you'd like any more information, any more comparison reviews. We'd be happy to do it.